Alright people, it's Wednesday and today it is the first episode of the Phil Neville Show. So, welcome everyone, I hope you're all well. Today is another video of mine and today I'm going to be talking to you about the icon of the channel, Mr. Phil Neville. Now, how's Phil been doing? Well, he's been doing pretty well, you know. There's a few jobs going. I've looked on the odds of who the next manager of Sheffield Wednesday might be, and he's not very high on it, but Phil is one of the possible contenders for the job. He did say, I've heard, that he doesn't want to leave the England women's team, and I heard that Stan Collymore on another on a website said that he's advising Phil to move to like League One or Championship clubs, which I think will be a good move for Phil. I think he will be a really good coach in men's football as in women's football too. So maybe he could be the next Sheffield Wednesday manager. I massively think that the Sheffield Wednesday supporters will not appreciate it, but he's a new coach. Maybe he might have his own kind of structure and his own way. I've seen the way he plays football in the Women's World Cup, obviously. It might be different in the men's football, but I think his football's quite good. So that is the first part of the news, and I think Phil may as well. I think he could do a good job at Sheffield Wednesday. Maybe, I don't know. We will have to wait and see what happens. But they might even appoint the guy Lee Bullen, who's the caretaker manager for their Sheffield Wednesday's 3-1 win against Reading at the weekend. So we'll find out. I've also done my Premier League predictions for the table, which a lot of people have been asking for. So they're out today. I've just written them down. Some of them I've changed my mind over, and most of them I've stuck with. So we're going to see how it all goes. And you might be shocked by a couple, and you might be going, "Are you mental?" But it's just my opinion. It's just my view. It's nothing to upset people or be disrespectful about. It's just my opinion. You know, I'm not trying to, trying to infuriate anybody. So, if there's any more Phil news, the phone's charging there, so I'll have a look on there. What else has Phil been getting up to? Well, Phil has been doing well in the training sessions every Monday. This week he played for AFC Wimbledon. And he will be playing for Millwall next week. He'll be training for Millwall on FIFA 13 next Monday. So be in there to be watching Phil in his great episode. And I think he looks all right in the Millwall kit, to be fair. I've got more teams coming up. I had a plan for, I think it's the 16th of September. That's my episode that I'm looking for another team. The day before that, Huddersfield Town are playing Sheffield Wednesday. And I kind of like both teams, sort of. I don't know. I just find that, it's a kind of a fixture I like both teams. You see, the kind of my favourite two Yorkshire teams. I don't really support them, but I like them. I'm not saying I hate the other Yorkshire teams like Bradford or Sheffield United. I'm not trying to say that, but those two are kind of my favourites. So. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see whoever wins that game. The winner Phil can do a training session for them on the Monday. But if there is no winner, then we're going to have to leave it to you guys to get the requests out. So that's what it's going to be, really. I'm going to check because Bournemouth was the last team. And I'm not sure whether it was the 9th of September or the 16th. So I'm going to see what I can do there. So, yeah, Phil has been doing pretty well. He's been scoring some great cracking goals. He's going to be wearing a Millwall kit in the upcoming week. I'm not too sure West Ham supporters will be too happy with that. Please don't hurt me, West Ham fans. I'm very sorry. It was a request from a friend. So, I'm not going to tell you which friend that is because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't think it'll cause too many problems. Well, I hope not anyway, but... Yeah, he will be wearing a Millwall kit next week, so that should be quite exciting. And I posted a video last Wednesday. It was from a channel. It was a match of the day from 2011, and he scored some goals from outside the box. and I'm going to try and recreate them, but I'll need some friends to do it with, and I don't think they'll want to be on camera, so got a bit of a problem there. But I've seen the great goals that he scored, and all of them are pretty mint, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, Phil, hopefully he will get some future jobs in the Premier League. If I was ever a coach, I'd ask you to be my assistant. Or if I was ever owner of a football club, I'd ask you to be the manager, sir. And, I tried to sign him on my Bournemouth career mode on FIFA 13, which I've been doing. I haven't really felt like doing a career mode. I've kind of fallen out on doing a career mode on YouTube now because I want to do it, but the videos are too long and, it takes so much time to upload and it can be so annoying, having to check on how much percent it's got and, if the iPad's still off, because if you leave it for a few minutes, it just goes off. So, that is a big blow, unfortunately. And at the moment, I left Bournemouth and I went to Burnley. It's a bit like the Eddie Howe story. Bournemouth and Burnley fans will know about this. First Eddie Howe was at Bournemouth when the club was struggling. They appointed him as a manager. He managed to stay up. He did so well with Bournemouth. He got the Burnley job, and then he went back to Bournemouth, which is incredible. And this is where they are now, and that's how Sean Dyche got there. Sorry about the birds screaming. It screams every time I do a video. This is Phil Neville unrelated, but there is another Philip that is the Derby County manager called Philip Koku. He got a win against Huddersfield Town on Monday. Sorry, Andre. And he signed Wayne Rooney. He's going to be joining in January from DC United. Rumours to his family being unsettled in America. So that is again fantastic signing there for Derby, and if they can get him promoted to the Premier League. So that is interesting news. So now, guys, what I'm going to do, I am going to I'm going to give you my Premier League prediction video for the table, and I'm also going to write down some of the predictions for this weekend as well, maybe. So we're going to start off with the bottom place, 20th place, Newcastle United. I'm still going with Newcastle. I know they've spent some money before, after, they signed Alan Saint-Maximin from Nice. Sorry, I probably pronounced his name wrong there. And they signed Joelinton. But still, I still think Newcastle are going to go down. I don't think, I'm not convinced, you can make all the great signings that you want, unless you signed Mbappe, Messi, and loads of these amazing players, and you bought, and you got this financial takeover, then great. But I'm still not convinced Newcastle are going to have a good season. I think it's going to be a bit of a turmoil for them. With Steve Bruce in charge, obviously an ex-Sunderland manager, and I don't think it's going to go out too well. You can have all the quality play, yeah, they really are good players, and hopefully, things might go well, but I just don't think it will. I think Newcastle's luck has run out, and I think it's going to be difficult for them this season. It's going to be a very big challenge for them. I'm still not convinced. I mean, Mike Ashley, the club's in a bit of turmoil against him, and obviously the appointment of Steve Bruce will not really impress the Newcastle supporters, as I've just pointed out. But I really struggle to see past Newcastle this year, and I think they're going to struggle in the Premier League this season. So in 19th place, I'm going to go with Brighton. Brighton have been in the club, have been in the Premier League for 2 years now. First season, I think they did well under Chris Hughton. They played some good counter-attacking football. The last win they had, I believe, was against Crystal Palace on the 9th of March. So I think that this is going to be a very difficult season. Obviously, their manager, Graham Potter, is inexperienced in the Premier League. Sorry, I'm filming. He will be, very new to the division. He plays more attack-minded football. He's played at Östersunds. He's achieved a lot. Managed to get them from the 4th tier to the top tier of Swedish football. and he also managed to get them to the Europa League and they beat Arsenal. So he has got some decent managerial stats, and he also managed Swansea City but finished mid-table in the Championship. I think the Premier League might be a bit much of a difficult task for him. They signed Neil Maupay from Brentford. I think that is a good signing, but I'm not too sure whether his experience will be good enough to keep Brighton in the Premier League, and I think a lot of people are saying that Brighton are going to get relegated, so I'm not alone on this. So in 18th place, I'm going to go for Sheffield United. Sheffield United haven't been in the Premier League since 2007. Again, it's because of their inexperience. I always think at least one Championship club will go down, and I believe that will be Sheffield United. I think Aston Villa and Norwich will be fine in the Premier League, personally. I have actually gone for Norwich to finish quite high, but I'll get to that in a moment. And and I just think Chris Wilder, I think he had a good season in the Championship last season with Sheffield United, but I do wonder whether the Premier League might be a bit too much for them, like a bit similar to Brighton really. Although Brighton have been in the Premier League for 2 years, I just think it's a new manager and it might be a bit difficult. But you never know. I'll probably be wrong because I'm Brad. I always get a lot of things wrong. So yeah. So 17th place, I'm going to go for Aston Villa. I think they will be in a relegation fight. I think Dean Smith's team have signed a lot of players in their team. People might think, what if the similarity to Fulham did last year? Well, I'm quite confident that Villa will stay in the Premier League. I think I've got a lot of quality players around them. I think there will be in a relegation fight, but I do think they will have enough to stay in the division. I think it will be tight down there. I think it will be a very interesting season in terms of the relegation battle. So I think Aston Villa will stay up just about. In 16th place, I'm going to go for Watford. Reason being is that Watford had a good season last season. They played some good football under the manager Javi Gracia. They won the first 4 games of the season. They got to an FA Cup final. They challenged for Europa League. They did end up finishing 11th, but the next season always turns out wrong. Say like when you win a Premier League, or if you finish in the Europa League place, or you had a very good finish, the next season's always back to normal, or you struggle a bit. They do have quality. They signed Danny Welbeck today, did Watford. They've got Deeney, they've got Deulofeu. But I do think it'll be a very, very plain, ordinary season for them. I think there might be a lot of teams that might be in that relegation scrap this season, and I believe that Watford will be fine. But I don't think they're gonna, really challenge for Europe or do anything domestically. So yeah, I think Watford's gonna finish 16th place. In 15th place, I'm gonna go for Burnley. Burnley are a team that scored. I think I found out a stat that Burnley scored the most goals in a Premier League season in Premier League history. So I think that should be. I think that would be a big boost for them. I think Barnes and Wood would be a lethal partnership in front of goal. They're always a team that give their maximum effort. They don't play easy on the eye, but I do think that Burnley will have enough to stay in the Premier League. I think they've got enough quality to stay up. I like Dwight McNeil as a winger as well. I think he's a really good young prospect for the future, and I think Burnley will do absolutely fine from now on to the for this season. They'll have their struggles. I did think last season that they would struggle a lot, but I think Burnley will be fine, and I think they'll finish 15th. In 14th place, I'm going to go for Bournemouth. Bournemouth are a team that always play nice, attacking, attractive football. They did challenge for the top 6. They were knocking on the door at the top 6. And then they lost 2-1 to us, Manchester United, by 2-1. And it all went wrong from there. They found it very difficult. They had a lot of difficult fixtures in the way. And I think that's the start of Bournemouth's slippery slope down near the bottom of the table. It ended up in a very ordinary finish. They nearly got into a relegation battle. They signed Harry Wilson on loan from Liverpool today, and I think that is a decent signing for Bournemouth. I think they will create a lot of chances, and there will be very difficult opponents to play, particularly at the Vitality Stadium. But I don't think that they will, go up near to the top half of the table, or they will challenge for Europe. I think it will be a very ordinary season. I think they'll have enough to stay in the Premier League yet again, and I'm going to go for 14th place for Bournemouth. In 13th place, I'm going to go for Crystal Palace. Look, there's a lot of rumours about Wilfried Zaha leaving Crystal Palace. We don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think he wants to leave Palace. Arsenal, I don't think they're going to get him. I think the only team that will go and get him will be Everton. And it will be quite funny actually. Him playing for Everton on the opening day of the Premier League season against his old club. And I wonder what reception he'd get. I hope he get a good reception from the Palace fans, because I think he needs a new challenge, really, Wilfried Zaha. He has. I know they had Batshuayi last year, and I think that helped. But I think for a lot of years he's carried Crystal Palace, has been a very, very key player. But I do think Palace will be fine. Roy Hodgson's a very experienced manager. I think he will get them out of it. I think he will. He'll finish quite higher than people would expect in the Premier League table. So I'm going to go for a 13th Crystal Palace finish. They do need a striker before, obviously before deadline day. I wonder if they're going to get one. I think they will. I don't think Christian Benteke, I think they should get rid of him personally. I don't think he's good enough to be a Crystal Palace player, or a Premier League player for that matter. I think he should, go out on loan to the Championship for a season, because I think he's really struggling, Christian Benteke. He has for a couple of seasons now, so we're going to have to... I think Palace are going to have to get a new striker in, but I do think they'll struggle to score goals, but they manage to get out of it. I think it'll be very similar to last season. I think Palace will be fine. Now in 12th place, this is a bit of a shock actually. I'm going to go for Norwich City. I think because Norwich have played some really nice football, and they won the Championship. I think they've got a togetherness. I think there's a big positivity around Norwich. They signed Patrick Roberts. I'm not fully familiar with their players, but from what I've heard, I've got a Norwich fan who's a friend of mine, and I think he will. I think he's pretty positive. I don't think they're gonna get anything this weekend at Liverpool, but I do think over the course of the season they will pick up points, probably against us. I think that will be the case. I think they will get points off United this season, and I think it will be. I can see Norwich finishing quite high. I can see them being quite a surprise package. I don't think they'll get into Europe or anything, but I don't think. I do think they will do quite well this season in the Premier League. I think they'll finish 12th in the Premier League. It might be a bit generous, but that's what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to say Norwich City to finish 12th. 11th place, I'm going to go for Ralph Hasenhüttl's Southampton. Southampton, for me, in the next few years, I think they will be back to where they were under Ronald Koeman and Maurizio Pochettino when he was manager there before he left for Spurs. I think that Southampton, I like Hasenhüttl. I think he plays good football. I think he plays intense football that will make it difficult for the opposition. He managed to beat Arsenal 3-2 in his first win. I think he will. He went to Chelsea, got a draw. Southampton were very unfortunate not to get anything at Old Trafford. Although I was delighted that we did win the game. They also beat Spurs, and I do think he plays some nice football as well. I think he's got some good players like Danny Ings, Nathan Redmond. I think he's got very fast players in his team and quality midfielders too. So I think Southampton are going to finish 11th in the Premier League. I think the good times will come back to St Mary's. In 10th place, I'm going to go for West Ham. Now, I heard something about Declan Rice saying that it would be a failure if West Ham didn't get into Europe, which I kind of agree. Pellegrini's a world-class manager. I think he's, obviously they've got some quality players. Got rid of Marko Arnautovic. They signed a striker called Haller. I've heard they're going to sign another player today. Not too sure who he is, but I'm going to have a look and see. I think from what I've heard about this Haller guy, I think he's a really top player. I think he could be like Dimitri Payet. They got Arnautovic out of the club. I think that was a good thing for West Ham. They don't want to trouble causers. They had it with Payet himself, and they had him with they've had it now with Arnautovic. And Arnautovic caused problems at Stoke as well, apparently. So obviously, I think West Ham. I think it'll be very similar to last season. They'll be up there challenging. I think they'll have their inconsistencies, like they did last season. If they want to be in Europe, they need to be consistent. I don't think West Ham are very capable of doing that, so I'm going to go for a 10th place finish for West Ham. 9th place, this is where I'm probably going to get a lot of abuse here. I'm going to go for Chelsea. Now, the reason is that I don't know if Higuain's a permanent Chelsea player. I don't think he is. Hazard's gone. It's going to be difficult, right? Because they're going to have a good start. They're going to have to beat us on Sunday at Old Trafford. It's already a must-win game. I've heard from some people, from some Chelsea supporters, I think. And they've had a transfer ban. They can't buy anybody. They're going to have to rely on. I think they're going to have to rely on Olivier Giroud for the goals. They've got Christian Pulisic, who is going to be a good signing. I think Pedro will be a good signing as well. But I think Chelsea, like the 15-16 season, I think they're going to struggle, and I think they're going to finish 9th in the Premier League, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Chelsea fans. I wish I could say something else. I don't really have anything against Chelsea, but I don't think they're going to do very well this season. I think it's going to be a bit like the 15-16 season, but I don't think you're going to be in a relegation battle. I just think you'll be around mid-table, not really doing much, as a big club. I don't think Frank Lampard will get sacked unless they are in a relegation battle. But I don't really see him getting sacked. I think once they can get transfers done, when they're allowed to get transfers, obviously summer 2020, then everything will be fine. I think they will start being a Champions League club again. I think they will start contending for like FA Cups, League Cups. They're gonna have to fight for them as well as Man United as well. So that's what I'm going to go for. In 8th place, I'm going to go for Everton. Now, Everton have shown some good ambition. Obviously, they had a good end towards last season. It was very average. There were people saying Marco Silva out, and then they beat Chelsea. They absolutely beat the shit out of us, and they beat Arsenal as well. So they had a very strong end to last season. And I think they will as well. They had 2 bids rejected today. One for a loan deal for Chris Smalling, rejected by United, and Alex Iwobi had Arsenal turned that down as well for £30 million, and they tried to sign Decore as well. So obviously Everton are trying to add to their squad. I haven't got a lot of time here, because I can't think of who Everton have bought. I know they've bought players. I can't really think of who they've got though. I know they've got some, but it's just not coming to me. But yeah, I do think Everton will have another strong season, and I think they will fight for 7th place. I think they're going to finish 8th this season. So in 7th place, I'm going to go for Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers, Leicester. I think he will guide Leicester to a fantastic season. I think he'll finish 7th. Obviously, they won the Premier League, which is something that will probably never ever happen again. Obviously, Leicester have got some quality players. Obviously, they've got Wilfred Ndidi. They signed. Harry Maguire's gone. They're going to have to get a new centre back. And I think Brendan Rodgers, he's a top-class manager. He did really well at Swansea when he first came to the Premier League. And then he went to Liverpool, nearly won the league. And I think he's playing amazing football. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I like Brendan Rodgers as a manager. Obviously Jamie Vardy's going to get a lot of goals this season. And I think, James Maddison's going to be a quality player. I know they've bought players. I know they've bought some really good players, but I can't think of who they've got. They're not coming to my head. But I just think I'm just saying what I think where they'll finish really. But yeah, I think Leicester City are in for a really good season, and I think they're going to finish 7th place. In 6th place, I'm going to go for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves. Some people are saying that they're going to finish 9th because of their Europa League campaign. I can understand where they're coming from an extent, but I think Wolves have too much quality to sign. Raul Jimenez, they bought a defender from Real Madrid on loan. I think they're going to have a fantastic season again. And Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think they will be a fantastic team in the future. Jota and Jimenez will be causing a lot of problems, especially to us. They're our bogey team. We couldn't beat them last season. We lost twice to them at Molineux by 2-1. One in the FA Cup, one in the league, and we drew 1-1 at Old Trafford. And we face them in the second game of the season. It's a game I'm not looking forward to. I really want us to beat Chelsea on Sunday so we can get a good start and give us some confidence going into that Wolves game. So that is going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to go for Wolverhampton Wanderers to finish 6th place. And I think it's going to be another cracking season for Nuno's team. In 5th place, I'm going to go with my team, Manchester United. Yeah, we're not going to get top 4 again this year. The only route of the Champions League we're going to get is Europa League if we win it there. Obviously there's going to be difficult teams to play against. Obviously Wolves are going to be one of them. There's also going to be Arsenal in there as well. Arsenal, obviously, I think obviously it's going to be clear that I think they're going to finish in the top 4. But yeah, United, Harry Maguire, fantastic signing. Aaron Wan-Bissaka again, fantastic signing. Hopefully Daniel James gets a chance to be a fantastic player. But, it looks like we're not going to get any more players. We've been turned down by Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Paulo Dybala. It just looks like we're not going to get any midfielders. We've got a crap midfield. Pogba might be leaving, we don't know. Lukaku, if we get rid of him, and we're going to have to bring in a new striker. It's not good at Old Trafford at the moment. But I don't think it will be as bad as last year. Well, hopefully. It can't get any worse than last year, I don't think. I think it could be worse if we got relegated, which I don't think will happen. And I really hope that we have a good season. We do better than we did last year. We were absolutely a joke last season. I can't go through that again. Like, some of the defeats were absolutely appalling. Losing 4-0 to Everton. I would have accepted maybe 1 or 2-0, but 4-0 is just bang out of order. And it's just a disgusting. It was a disgusting season last season. 1-1 draw with Huddersfield, a 2-0 defeat to Cardiff. There was nothing to like about last season. There was that good spell we had under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but it was just absolutely horrendous. I think we're going to finish 5th. Hopefully we can bring a bit of silverware, maybe a League Cup or an FA Cup. I don't think City are going to do the treble again. Hopefully they don't do a Celtic where they won the treble 3 times in a row. It gets a bit boring. So we don't want that. So, I think there's a lot of... this isn't the Scottish League. It's more competitive, the Premier League. Absolutely. So that's where I think things are going to go. In 4th place, I'm going to go with Arsenal. Arsenal have been unusually brilliant in the transfer window. They've signed William Saliba. They signed some other world-class players. They signed, I'm not saying he's world-class yet, but Nicolas Pepe is going to be a brilliant signing. Aubameyang and Lacazette will be causing a lot of problems. They've got Caballos as well. I think Arsenal are in for I think they're going to get into the top 4. I think they will finish above us. I think they're going to have a really, really good season. Arsenal. And I think they will get back into the Champions League by finishing 4th place. I think there will be. I think they might be terrorising a few defences this season, probably including ours as well. So that's who I think will finish 4th in the Premier League. They're still apparently going to sign 3 more players. I think Kieran Tierney is one of them from Celtic. Koscielny's gone to Bordeaux. I think Arsenal fans are pretty happy that now that's happened because he refused to go on the pre-season tour, and obviously you don't want problem players at the club. So Arsenal, they've done some good business. I think they're going to finish 4th in the Premier League. 3rd place, it's not all nice news for Arsenal because I think Spurs are going to finish 3rd in the Premier League. They're signing Domblé. I think he's going to be an absolutely fantastic signing. Christian Eriksen might be leaving. They might be adding Paulo Dybala to the squad. They might be even challenging for the title. You never know. And I think Tottenham will finish 3rd in the Premier League, and it's going to be. I think it will be there. Hang on a minute. So since the 2015 season, they didn't finish outside the top 4. So 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I think they're going to finish their 5th season in a row in the top 4, and it will be another good season for Tottenham Hotspur. In second place, I'm going to go with Liverpool, and I think you know who's going to win the title. Like absolutely everybody, every YouTube video I've watched of Premier League predictions, I hardly watch all of them because I know they're going to say Manchester City. But yeah, Liverpool are going to finish second in my opinion, because I know they've had a bad pre-season, yeah, but you know, and Mignolet's made some terrible mistakes. He's gone now. They've signed Adrian. They haven't added too much to their squad really, like in terms of big players. Signed Harvey Elliott from Fulham and another young defender as well. I'm not too sure what his name is, but I don't think they really need to make any major adjustments in the team. I think Bruno Fernandes could go to Anfield, who knows? But I think Liverpool will finish second. I think they will again have a very good season like last year. I'm not too sure they're gonna full on, you know, challenge at Man City like they did last year. Like I don't think it'll be as close as last year, but I do think that Liverpool will finish second despite their difficult pre-season. I think they'll get back to winning ways, and I think they'll be absolutely fine. Right, now, what I think now is to move on to the champions, Manchester City. They've won the Premier League in the last 2 seasons. Got Pep Guardiola as the manager. They've got an absolutely astonishing, unstoppable squad, and I can't see them not winning the league again. So that is my prediction. Simple as. Right, let's get into the final part of the Phil Neville show, which is the Premier League predictions for this weekend. Now, Liverpool against Norwich. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Liverpool win. You know, I think Norwich are going to find it difficult coming to Anfield on the opening day of the Premier League season, but I do think Liverpool are going to win despite their difficult, pre-season that they've had. I think they'll be back to normal. I think there'll be a 3-0 Liverpool win. Pardon me, excuse me. Next game, West Ham against Man City. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Man City win. I think West Ham will cause them problems, but I think City's quality will just bring them through. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Manchester City win. In the next game, I'm going to go for, it is Bournemouth against Sheffield United. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bournemouth victory in this one. The next one is Burnley against Southampton. It's a difficult one to predict. I think it'll be a tight game. I think Burnley will just edge it with a 1-0 win. The next game is going to be Crystal Palace against Everton. I'm actually going to go for a... I don't know, I think Palace might actually win this, you know. I think Everton might have an off day first day of the season. Not too sure why. Just got a feeling that Palace, home advantage, I think they just might nick it. I mean, I know they struggled to score goals a lot at home last year, but I've just got a feeling that Palace are going to do it. Sorry, Everton fans. I've got some Everton friends as fans, so sorry. Next game, I think that is... oh, God. It's not looking good for me, is it? Let me just quickly check. I'm trying to go in order, you see. So, right, I'll just think of the next one. Right, my team, Man United. Let's go on to that one straight away. Just, you know, while we're waiting for the delay. Chelsea, it's going to be, it's not going to be an easy game. I know that. Chelsea's never easy. I always see them as a threat, Chelsea. But obviously, when I said that, I think Chelsea's going to have a difficult season. But I do believe that I think we're going to win. Yeah, I think we're going to win. I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. I'm going to go for Harry Maguire to get a goal. I'm going to go for Tony Martial to score. I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford to score. I'm confident. I'm allowed to be optimistic, all right? I'm joking. Yeah, I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 United win. Might be slightly biased, but I don't care. There's some news here. Tottenham end interest in Coutinho. Okay. Alright, let's go into scores and fixtures, because I need to sort myself out here. Right. No, that's Wednesday the 14th. We don't want that. Right, so here we are. So, yeah, Crystal Palace Everton. Watford against Brighton. I'm going to go for I can't remember what I went for. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Watford. Yeah, 1-0 Watford. That's what I'm going to say. I typed my predictions on a video once and I can't remember what they were. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 Watford win against Brighton. Tottenham against Aston Villa. I'm going to go for 2-0 Spurs. No, I'm going to go for 3-1 Spurs. I think Villa will get a goal. And then on Sunday, obviously I said Man United. I think we're going to win 3-1. I think I've said a lot of 3-1s today. Leicester against Wolves. I think that's going to be 2-2. Newcastle Arsenal. I'm going to go for a Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. And obviously Man United against Chelsea. I'm going to say 3-1 because I love Man United. And I'm confident. Always confident before a new season. You know, people always say like, "Oh, it's going to be an awful season." I did think that towards the end of last season, but you know, I always managed to find a bit of optimism. Always in the summer, I always find new season optimism. You know, it's a fresh start. Who knows what can happen? So, you know, yeah. So yeah, guys, that is my Premier League predictions, and that is the end of the Phil Neville Show. It's been on for what, half an hour? Yeah. So yeah, please all enjoy your day. I shall be back tomorrow for something else. I can't really remember. I'll see what I can find. I'll see if I have any ideas I can bring out. And I shall see you soon. I'm Brad the Lad, and I am out.